So what has this informant told congressional leaders, or what do they expect to hear from him? Florida Congressman Ron DeSantis has been leading that charge on the House Oversight Committee's probe into this deal.
So I've been in contact almost on a daily basis with his attorney, and he is very interested in telling his story. He was just somebody who was working in Washington as a lobbyist, was approached to be a part of some of these Russian lobbying campaigns, and he realized immediately this was not on the up and up. So to his credit, he went immediately to the FBI and became a confidential informant for them in 2009 and did that for a number of years. So he wanted to tell his story. He feels his story needs to be told, but he was concerned about the gag order because last year he wanted to litigate some claims against the FBI, and the Justice Department told him, you're under this gag order. If you expose things that are covered by that, then there will be reprisals against you. And so obviously he didn't want to do that, and his attorney, being a good attorney, is going to tell him to make sure that that's taken care of. Well, now that that's taken care of, he's going through what I understand to be a lot of documents that he accumulated over those many years. He's going to be willing to produce those documents to Congress, and then obviously he's going to talk to Congress. Most likely it'll be initially behind the scenes in a closed-door setting, just so we can go through all this, maybe do some other investigating. But I do anticipate at some point, if his information, bears out, that you could see him in front of the keg lights at a congressional hearing down the road.
Yeah. Do you believe that he has information on the Clinton Foundation and how those transactions were involved with the Clinton Foundation, the speeches that were given by Bill Clinton, which I just mentioned? Do you believe that he has information on that?
I think it's possible. I definitely believe that from the very beginning of this, that he will say that the Russian sources that he was dealing with, they were very much interested in influencing the Clintons.
In what way? What did they want to do?
Well, obviously, they were making a play, and it was something that all the way up to Vladimir Putin, where they wanted this Russian-backed company to be able to get a stake in America's uranium reserves. I'm sure there were other issues that they were concerned with as well, but that was the main one. Yeah. And how do you do that? You can't just go do it. There's a big process involved. It's got to get the approval of the administration in power, not just the Secretary of State, but some other key officials. Yeah. And so that was something that they were concerned about from the very beginning, and this is something that he's going to have information on.
So, the pushback on this story is that it's not a big deal, that this has been litigated before, that there were bribery charges, and that those have also been litigated within these companies, that they were being bribed and getting kickbacks from the Russian companies as part of this transaction, and that the Clintons had nothing to do with it.
Well, some of that is true in the sense that, yes, the main Russian protagonist, Mikiram, did plead guilty in 2014. There's going to be some questions about that guilty plea, though, because it seems that he could have been charged with more serious offenses. But having said that, none of this information, to the best of our knowledge, was ever produced to Congress, or, we don't think, to members of the CFIUS board prior to the approval in 2010. So they had the informant in 2009, and yet Congress, there was a lot of opposition to this deal in 2010 on policy grounds. Imagine if they would have known that undergirding this was a racketeering and bribery scheme. That could have probably been enough. That information alone probably would have stopped the deal from going forward. Yeah,
you would think that was information they would have wanted to know. Before I let you go, do you want a special counsel to look into this? And is there a proceeding to move toward that?
I think we need one because the Deputy Attorney General now, Rod Rosenstein, was actually the U.S. attorney who processed the Mikiram guilty plea in Maryland at the time. Right. Mueller, obviously, was the FBI director. So I just think you need a fresh set of eyes to look at this.
Congressman DeSantis, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.